Hello everyone, my name is Myra Gonzalez and I'm going to be presenting my Marbury versus Madison court case. Okay, so it is important to understand where the US government was at the time of the Marbury versus Madison case. The government was transitioning from a federalist form of government to a democratic republic form of government. We had at this point um, our outgoing Federalist president, John Adams, and then our president elect, Thomas Jefferson, who was the a democratic republic form of government. So we had that transitioning happening during this time. Okay, here are our five key players. We have our outgoing Federalist President John Adams, our new President elect Thomas Jefferson. Then we have John Marshall. He played a key role. He was first the Secretary of State to President John Adams, and then was later appointed by President Thomas Jefferson as the Chief Justice. And when that happened, James Madison took on the Secretary of State position for Thomas Jefferson. And William Marbury was waiting for his commission as he was appointed judge by John Adams before he left office. Okay, so the 1789 Judiciary Act was the act that officially established the U.S. federal court system. And so, what President John Adams did before he left office, he implemented the Judiciary Act of 1801, which amended the 1789 Judiciary Act. And what it did was it created new district courts and new justice courts. And so before Adams left, he appointed various different judges for these different courts. And one of those judges that was appointed was William Marbury. And at this time, John Marshall is the acting Secretary of State for John Adams, and his job was to hand out commissions to confirm that the appointed judges by Adams, received their commissions until Jefferson or President Jefferson became president. However, he failed to deliver all of the commissions, and one of them was uh, uh, William Marbury's commission. Therefore, when Thomas okay, sorry about that. So when President Jefferson took office, he ordered that the remaining commissions be withheld, and Marbury sued the new Secretary of State because now that John Marshall was the Chief Justice, James Adams took on the role of Secretary of State. So William Marbury sued the new Secretary of State, James Adams. I'm sorry, James Madison, in order to obtain his commission. This was then taken to the Supreme Court, and so we'll find out what the decision was made by the new justice, which is John Marshall. Okay, so the court's decision. The court found that James Madison's refusal to deliver the commission was illegal, but did not order Madison to hand over Marbury's commission via the writ of mandamus. Instead, the court held that the provision of the Judiciary Act of 1789 enabling Marbury to bring his claim to the Supreme Court was itself unconstitutional. Marshall expanded that a writ of mandamus was the proper way to seek a remedy, but concluded that the court could not issue it. Marshall also reasoned that the Judiciary Act of 1789 conflicted with the Constitution. Congress did not have power to modify the Constitution through regular legislation because the Supremacy Clause places the Constitution before the laws. So Marshall therefore established the principle of judicial review, which gives the court, the power to declare a law unconstitutional. So it established judicial review. How does this impact our lives today? Well, the court became the final authority on what the Constitution means. So the judiciary branch is the branch of our government that interprets the meaning of our laws. The Supreme Court protects us from laws that might violate the Constitution. When a court is asked to review a law, it must determine if the law is constitutional, meaning that it does not violate the principles of the Constitution. And so that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much. Bye.